Please subscribe my channel. 7 years is a long time to carry silence. Long enough for birthdays to blur together, for routines to harden, for anger to cool into something quieter and heavier. When she left, it wasn't dramatic. No screaming, no slammed doors. She packed a bag while the kids slept, kissed their foreheads like she was borrowing them, and told me she needed to find herself. That phrase landed like a stone. I nodded because there were 2 little beds down the hall and I needed to keep breathing for them. The first year was survival. Mornings were lunches and shoes and forgotten homework. Nights were laundry and math problems and the sound of a washing machine that never seemed to rest. I learned how to braid hair badly and how to cook things that wouldn't burn. I learned the difference between listening and fixing. I stopped asking where she was or who she was becoming. I stopped checking my phone at night. Silence became a discipline. People had opinions. They always do. Some said I should fight. Some said I should move on. Some said kids are resilient, like that makes it easier. What nobody said was how heavy it feels to sit in the bleachers alone, to clap loud enough for 2 parents, to answer questions you never wanted to answer. I told the kids the truth without poison. Their mom loved them. She needed space. We would be okay. Repeating it didn't make it easier, but it kept me honest. Years 2 and 3 taught me restraint. I stopped telling the story the way it hurt and started telling it the way it happened. She left. I stayed. That was it. I worked, I saved, I showed up. When the kids asked why she didn't call, I said I didn't know. When they asked if she was coming back, I said I didn't know. Not knowing became a muscle. It grew strong. By year 4, something shifted. The house felt less like a bunker and more like a home. We laughed again, real laughter, the kind that surprises you. I stopped measuring my worth by who left and started measuring it by who stayed. The kids grew taller. Their questions got sharper. I answered them with respect. I never badmouthed their mother. I never pretended it didn't hurt. Both things can be true. Year 5 brought distance. She sent a message once, asking for pictures. I sent them. She thanked me. I said you're welcome. Nothing else. Boundaries are quiet things. They don't announce themselves. They just exist. The kids noticed. They didn't ask. Children understand more than we give them credit for. By year 6, the past stopped visiting me in my sleep. I slept like a man who had done the work. I had routines that didn't depend on hope. Soccer practices, dentist appointments, grocery lists taped to the fridge. I had learned how to be steady without applause. That steadiness became visible in the kids. Teachers noticed. Coaches noticed. I noticed. The 7th year arrived without ceremony. We were at a community event downtown, the kind with folding tables and music that's too loud. The kids ran ahead, older now, confident in a way that made my chest tighten. I was paying for lemonade when I felt it, that old pressure behind the eyes. Not sadness. Recognition. I turned and there she was. Time does a strange thing to memory. She looked familiar and distant at the same time. When her eyes found us, she stopped. Like the ground had tilted. Her face changed in pieces. Shock first. Then calculation. Then something like regret, though I've learned not to name things that don't ask to be named. The kids saw her a second later. They didn't run. They didn't freeze. They stood where they were, tall and calm. She said my name. I nodded. She said theirs. They answered. Polite. Measured. She looked at them like she was counting years on their faces. She asked how we were. I said we're good. Because we were. The words didn't shake. She apologized, softly, to me or to the moment, I'm not sure. I didn't interrupt. I didn't fill the silence. I let it sit where it belonged. The kids listened. When she finished, I said I'm glad you're okay. Then I asked the kids if they were ready to go. They were. As we walked away, I didn't feel victory. I felt alignment. 7 years earlier, she chose herself. Over time, I chose responsibility. Those choices grew into people who could stand in the same space without collapsing. I didn't look back. I didn't need to. The past had finally caught up to the present, and it had nothing left to take. That was enough for us.